All right, Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Okakadash, and the Heavenly Father. The true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, and the name of Mashiach Kabashah. Those are the true names in the ancient Pelican Hebrew, and the Lashwan Kadash Sultan. And I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, where I came out Akbar, and I say Shabbat Shalom. And this is a sit down lesson of the sit down lesson of the latest news of the M.O.T.B news updates as of April the 28th, 2025 on this Monday afternoon. I say Shabbat Shalom. And this is a news article from ledgerinsights.com, blockchain for banking news, published 13 hours ago. And it reads, World Federation of Exchange explores the central digital currency for tokenization. This is the World Federation of Exchange, the WFE, has published a paper exploring the potential impact of central bank digital currency of the CBC of the adoption of tokenization. The WFE is an industry body representing the world's largest stock exchange and clearing houses, including the central counterparties. CCPS. These are among the organizations that will be mostly heavily affected by a shift tokenizations, and one of its members, Switzerland SI Digital Exchange at STC, already supports the plot of the wholesales of the central digital currency. The Swift experience. It says the Swift experience demonstrates the utility of the efficient central digital currencies to the success of the tokenization due to the enhanced trust, equity, finance inclusions, and diversification associated with the central digital currency, says Richard Metcalf, head of the regulator affairs at the World Federation of Exchange. Other central banks and policymakers should take heed of the examples to generate the economic growth associated with the tokenization. It says the WFE reports last year of tokenization seems less in need of the topic, although once is more balanced. Benefits of the wholesale of the central digital currency include the ability to use central banks' money and collateral to facilitate cross-border payments. The authors noted that while the central digital currency support delivers verse payments DVP, so do real-time gross settlements RTGS systems, though transactions can take from seconds to half an hour. So that's another sign of central digital currency.
Real-time stats and insights while watching the postseason.
It says central bank gold rush could spark Bitcoin price run to a new all-time high. It says El Salvador is buying Bitcoin despite the IMF compliance. How? Question mark. It says from Investors Business Daily, Bitcoin price was undermoved by the new U.S. crypto reserve. The flying wheel effect could change that. Or the central bank digital currency is the future of global money. Yeah, of course it is. It says 3 Abad Giants plan stablecoin backed by its United Arab currency. Right, so we're going to see more and more of these countries leaning towards the Bitcoin cryptocurrency stablecoin, and the pushing of the RFID and the CHIP, and the pushing of this digital currency. That's going to be the new form of currency. And this is from northcentralpa.com, published 9 hours ago, and it reads, it says the PA House passes a clone bill to regulate virtual currency. Right, because you're going to have virtual currency and digital currency as well, too. because you're going to have these different types of forms of different alternatives to forms of currency. As we've been seeing increasing signs of the paper dollar is going to be a thing of the past because everything's going to be currency. You're going to have virtual currency, digital currency, Bitcoin, stablecoin, cryptocurrency, digital dollar, digital ID, digital wallet, digital currency, because everything's going to be digital with this new form of currency. And it's going to implement the RFID and CHIP as well too. As I mentioned again once before. This is a news article from the northcentralpa.com. It says the PA House passes a coin-clink bill to regulate virtual currency. It says the cryptocurrency landscape is continually evolving. Here's a snapshot of how the industry looks in Pennsylvania. And this is from April the 23rd from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. On April the 23rd, the Pennsylvania House passed a state Scott coin-clink bill that will authorize the state to regulate virtual currency. Klon, if I pronounce his name right, Slovakia. It says, who is a major chairman of the House Committee, says introduced the HB 881 to ensure the consumer confidence that exchange made with the digital currency are as safe and reliable as money transactions are regulated the same matter. With the technology creating new forms of virtual currency, such as cryptocurrency, all law needs to keep pace with the changes to protect Pennsylvanians. Conklin says customers deserve to know that the transactions they conduct using digital currency are as safe and secure as those involved in a traditional forms of money. Under their current state law, the virtual currency is not subject to the state's money transmission license law, which regulate businesses that transmit money or credit. My bill will expand law so it covers virtual currency and requires that it be treated similar to money transmissions under the law. Yep, so that's another sign of digital currency and virtual currency on top of that as well too. It says, this is from Tech in Africa. It says, Trump gambles the scramble sheet reacts to Nigeria and China digital currency move. Right, because I remember I did a recent sit-down lesson about Nigeria and China. They moved towards the central digital currency. I believe they signed a partnership as well too, if I'm not mistaken. Because you're gonna have these currencies, they're gonna be in competition with one another as well too. The Bitcoin, stablecoin, cryptocurrency are gonna be in competition with one another. See who's the best currency, but it's still gonna push forth towards the digital currency, which is a cashless society, which we see in increasing form signs of that. It says Apple Dubai launches a Durham-backed stablecoin project backed by the major institutes. So that's just a more sign of a stable coin, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency push towards that. It says a Ledger Insider. It says MasterCard aims to power stablecoin from wallets to merchants' acceptance. It says this is from News 5, Cleveland News, published 2 days ago. It says you may soon be able to pay fees, taxes in Ohio with cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Yep, so we're seeing more signs, of these, especially over here in the United States, especially Ohio, Texas, Louisiana. We're seeing these legislatures, they passing bills to form, to make cryptocurrency in Bitcoin, so you can be able to pay your taxes for anything that's taxed, things that's taxed that you make payments on, like your house mortgage or pay taxes, as an example, that they trying to pass a bill to fully implement that. So that, once again, that shows you a sign that new form of digital currency, the paper dollar, is going to be the thing to pass. We're seeing increasing signs of it as the paper dollar is going to be definitely the thing to pass, because everything is digital transactions nowadays, because that's going to be fully mandatory and that's going to be fully implemented around the world, as we see in 134 plus countries leaning towards that. It says from Daily Nation, published 2 days ago, experts claim central bank digital currency can curb financial crime. I don't know about that, because you've been having a lot of nations leaning towards about cryptocurrency. This digital currency. Some might think it is safe, and then others are not thinking it's safe, especially the United States, because they might think it might be a crime, because the government control your money, they charge you with fees, and stuff like that. So it'd be easy for hackers to get into it. That's why you have a lot of countries that don't fully support this digital currency. Some it's half and half, like 50-50. Some support it and others don't support it. So I don't know if it's gonna fully solve the hacking crime. I'm not for sure. Only time will tell in that matter. That's just a sad note. As I read that news article, it says that this is from the Express Tribune. It says the United Arab Emirates to launch national cryptocurrency stablecoin. Right, that's another sign of cryptocurrency. It's stablecoin and Bitcoin, as the nation's leaning towards the central digital currency. And this is from the Crypto News Australia. The new SEC chief welcomes the congressional support as crypto regulation bills advance. Right, another sign right there. It says, this is from Coin Market Cap, published 3 days ago. It says the CMS to launch the SRF futures on May 19th, expanding crypto offerings to 4 major assets. Since I can find some more digital currency news from MSN. So every time we see these news updates on an everyday basis of this M.O.T.B news updates, we see more and more pushing these nations, leaning towards this digital currency. That's going to be the new form of currency in order for the buy or sell. Yep, it says Ohio Treasury not so on state cryptocurrency strategic reserve idea. Right, some is hip to the idea and some not. So it's going to be a balance. It says central bank digital currency gains traction in Nigeria. Right, just like Nigeria and China signed that deal to lean towards the central digital bank currency, and they turned away for trusting the American dollar. And keep this in mind, we already been seeing tensions heating up between China and the United States, especially with this economic tariffs. So that's why you have Nigeria and China signed that deal to use that form of currency and turn away from trusting the greenback dollar, which is the American dollar. And throughout the years, as of recently, we've been seeing these nations as turning away from the American dollar, from the euro dollar, from the American dollar, as they coming from their own form of currency, and they coming up with this partnership. It says regulations will boost digital assets investments on those Nigerian boss. It says this is from Dhaka Tribune, published 14 hours ago. It says amending Trump tariffs in Asia's digital pivoted. Its quiet ending of dollar dominance is underway. Yeah, we're seeing signs of that, the dominance of the American dollar. That's why we're seeing the nations are not leaning towards the American dollar. They come with their own form of currency, try to overthrow the American dollar. It says for Fin Extra, published 3 days ago. It says iFast Group Rank launches a new multi-currency account on Visa powered debit card. So, like, these are older news articles. Go back to the latest ones. Yep, it says Business Times published 1 hour ago. It says 3 Dubai Giants playing stablecoin backed by the United Arab Emirates currency. Yep, so that's a new form of digital currency. Kazakhstan president signs a central digital bank currency law giving digital sum legal status. Right, that's another sign right there of digital currency being fully implemented around these countries. It says from Fin Express International MSN published 2 days ago. It says Singapore named fourth most crypto-friendly city in the world. It says another news article from the Star, 19 hours ago, it published. Vietnam needs to catch up on legal framework of digital assets, which they most likely will catch up on it. This is from Kajija Times on MSN, published 6 hours ago, and it reads: the United Arab Emirates, the new stablecoin backed by dirhams to be launched by ISC, ADQ, and FAB. Right, so those was the latest news of the M.O.T.B news updates. So I'm gonna get to that Revelation 13 chapter. And this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. It reads to the Holy Scriptures. And it calls all, both small and great, which are pulled for their bonds to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their FORESUDS. Right, so this is going to be the fully implementing of the RFID and the CHIP in order for you to buy or sell to do transactions. So we're seeing increasing significant signs of that, in order for you to buy or sell. And we're seeing the increasing pushing of this wholesales of the central digital bank currency. And we're seeing the full adoption of this central digital bank currency adoption. And we're seeing the CBC plot and the CBC trial and the CBC test as well, too, as they're getting closer and closer. All these other countries, 130 plus countries, leaning towards this central digital bank currency, brought along with the Bitcoin, stablecoin, cryptocurrency, and all these other platforms of currency. To, because the paper dollar, that's going to be a thing of the past. Revelation 13, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, say that he had the Quran or the name of the BASC on his name. Right, so in order to buy or sell, you got to have that MARK of that RFID and the CHIP to implement in the upper part of your body, right part of your body, in order to buy or sell. Revelation 13, verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the BEASC, for it is a number of a man, and his number is SIX, 303 score and SIX. So with that, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying on this Shabbat as of April 28th, 2025, on this Monday afternoon. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem HaKadosh, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Ba'Hashem, and the name of Mashiach Yahushua. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashwan Kadash Latam. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles with Akim Akwaf. And as I mentioned once again, hopefully this sit down lesson was edifying of this M.O.T.B news updates as of April 28th, 2025. Until next time, I will say Shabbat Shalom.